Faith Time is sponsored by VOA Southeast.
Faith Time, our weekly conversation on matters of faith. Issues of the environment and protecting the earth have been a topic around the country for decades. So where do communities of faith come in? This morning we're talking with Fairhope UMC senior pastor, Dr. Darren McClellan, about creation care. So what is that?
When we read the story of creation in Genesis, what we realize is that a lot of the things that God calls good show up long before human beings ever come on the scene. And so to be center stage ourselves, or to be merely consumers or even abusers of that creation for our own purposes, I think would be a great tragedy. So I would describe creation care really as a shared commitment that is based on the simple understanding that for many people, our faith, our lives, and our identity is rooted, if you will, in our relationship to the natural world as it's created by God, and that we are to take seriously our calling as caretakers of that creation. For God's to love the world, right? Which is perhaps a much bigger idea than just our individual personal salvation. So that would be my understanding of the term.
So how does your church put the practice of environmental stewardship into action?
Yeah, so this is exciting territory and kind of a new terrain for us, because we know that we have a long way to go in this area, but right now we have several in our congregation who are beginning to ask better questions, I think, about what it would mean for us to do no harm in this regard. As an example, last week, just some of our leaders came forward with an initiative to develop some curriculum for children and young families to begin to explore the issues of spiritual formation in light of our own theology around these matters of environmental issues and concerns. So right now, in addition, we hope to cultivate a series of monarch butterfly habitats that I'm really excited about on our campus, just as a way to begin to engage not only for the sake of natural beauty and for the good of the butterflies, but also to offer them as a way of creating space for our own further contemplation and reflection on some of these larger issues. Beyond that, we hope to have a green team of sorts to assess our current church practices. We know that it's going to take more than just issues of styrofoam and other things, but it's certainly not less than that as well, matters of recycling. And so just asking what we could do to be more ecologically hospitable as a part of our ministry. The challenge, of course, for any of us, as I would imagine, is to know that we've got to slow down enough to think about what it is that we're doing now, how we're doing right now, and who is affected and why it matters. So like a lot of us, we're really just getting started in this, but we believe that it's important to our future.
I've heard the argument made that God's creation is so massive, so big, that it would be strange to think mankind could destroy it. How do you respond to that line of thinking?
Yeah, respectfully, I would say that is a theory that I really don't want to bear out or to test myself. And if I were to engage those folks with love, I would say, I wonder if any of those have ever tried to care for a 2-year-old for any length, or even a tiny puppy. If you can sit with those folks and see what they're able to do in a very short period of time when left to their own devices, it's amazing what those creatures can do when they're left to our own devices. So if we believe that all creation is God's, or at least that our earthly home does not just belong to us, then it would make sense to say that we are responsible in some way for the ways in which we use and abuse that treasure. So.
A lot of environmental organizations are strictly secular. Why is it important for Christians to care about the environment?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I would just say that whether religious or not, most of us would agree, I think, that we are all stewards of the incredible gifts of this planet. And so a Christian, and just specifically as you asked, and this is true of other religious traditions as well, I think would attribute this gift to God and affirm that we are indebted to God for all that we have.
That was Fairhope UMC senior pastor, Dr. Darren McClellan. We thank him for joining us for this edition of Faith Time.